What are the best neighborhoods in Guelph, Ontario for you to move to, and which ones should you avoid? Well, that's going to depend on who you are and what you're looking for. As one neighborhood I'd recommend to an expanding family looking for quiet streets and great school systems would be different than the person that is a young professional looking to have something that's walkable with lots of stuff going on. So in this video, we'll be breaking down the different neighborhoods in terms of their real estate, their walkability, the schools, the shopping, the parks, and more, so that you know which neighborhood in Guelph is right for you. And we'll be breaking down Guelph into really 5 major areas. We have the central Guelph or downtown Guelph, we have South Guelph, East Guelph, West Guelph, and North Guelph. And here we're going to be discussing all the different pros and cons of each one of these neighborhoods. Now, if you're new here and want to learn everything about what it's like living in Hamilton and the surrounding cities and towns like Guelph, Ontario, like Milton, like Cambridge, like Burlington and Oakville, make sure to hit the subscribe button. My name is Matthew, the founding realtor of the Living in Hamilton team and channel. And for the past few years, we've been helping people just like yourselves relocate here and buy a home. So if you're thinking about making the move, whether it's in 60 days or in 6 months, send me and my team a message today. Otherwise, let's just jump on in to the first neighborhood let's discuss, and that will be Central Guelph, as this is located in the heart of the city and combines both that historic charm and vibrant urban atmosphere. And inside this neighborhood really includes both downtown and Old City, where you're gonna find lots of walkable, lively streets with local shops, cafe, and historic heritage buildings. But also you'll find Exhibition Park in St. George's, family-friended and an abundant amount of green spaces and community vibes, to Old University with an academic performance, mature trees, and just a short walk to both Guelph's downtown and the University of Guelph. So the top pros my clients absolutely love about this region here is the amazing walkability and the local businesses that are close by, to the amazing riverside parks that you get access to the strong sense of community with lots of events happening here. However, some of the cons that you're going to be facing when living in this community here is one, limited number of shopping options. Yes, you're going to have lots of great local businesses and small shops to explore, but for those big box chain retail stores, you're going to have to travel just a little bit outside this neighborhoods here in order to access those. Now, thankfully, Guelph isn't that big, so it's not that big of a drive. The second con is the traffic and the older infrastructure that causes the traffic oftentimes here. And then as for the shopping, like I mentioned, you're not going to be finding any large plazas. However, you have many local gems here. Some of my friends and family's personal favorites would be Lady Glazed Donuts for the best donuts in Guelph. You have the Red Brick Cafe, a local staple to grab a latte. Bon Gusto for some amazing upscale Italian food. To Eat Thai for some delicious Thai food. And then just outside the downtown city in these neighborhoods here, you're also going to find some amazing breweries like the Royal City Brewing Company, as well as the Spring Mill Distillery. And here is also where you're going to find the weekly farmers market that happens every single Saturday morning, as well as Thursday afternoons in the warmer months. And then in terms of schools, you're going to find some great options here. In particular, you're going to find 6 different elementary schools, both public and Catholic, with actually the oldest school in Guelph being the Victory Public Elementary School. But then you'll also find the most amount of high schools within this region, as you'll find 2 public and 2 Catholic, including the second best high school in Guelph, and was ranked for the 41st best one in the province at the Guelph Public High School. And then in terms of parks that you'll capitalize when living in these communities here, one, you have Exhibition Park, one of the main parks in Exhibition Park's neighborhood that has a little bit of everything, from baseball diamonds of all sizes to an indoor ice rink to outdoor ice rinks in the wintertime to a jungle gym to a wading pool for some younger kids, as well as tennis and pickleball courts. But you'll also find the Royal City Park here, which is another great green space to go for a stroll along the Speed River, or also check out the picturesque covered bridge. And then when you're ready to relax and cool down, you'll need to grab an ice cream at the boathouse, or possibly go explore the Speed River through a kayak or canoe where you can rent in this park here. And then in terms of public transit and walkability, this is one of the pros that I mentioned. And as a result, not only do you have the best walkability, the best busing options, but you'll also find the Guelph GO train station here that gives you easy access to Union Station, about an hour-and-a-half train ride. However, one of the cons about that is there's not much availability when you compare it to some of the surrounding cities like Burlington that has trains every 30 minutes. Guelph, you're only going to find a few trains every single day. Now, with that said, this neighborhoods here offer the best accessibility to the public transit. And then in terms of one of my favorite pastimes, golfing, you'll find the Cutton Fields, a private golf course you can become a member of. But if you're looking to buy real estate here, this made up 21% of the real estate sales in all of Guelph. And how it broke down in this neighborhood was it was primarily detached homes, as this made up 67% of the sales in the past 12 months, typically selling anywhere from $600,000 to $1 million. And here, these neighborhoods are really home to the original detached homes that made up Guelph. And these are either gonna be bungalows, some side splits and back splits, as well as some larger 2.5-story homes, typically built anywhere from the 1900s that had those historic heritage tags all the way up to the 1970s, and usually offer 3 to 4 beds and 2 to 4 bathrooms. And you're gonna find lots of homes here that have their own unique charm, especially that old world charm that comes with those buildings that are those red brick homes built in the early 1900s. Now, with that said, you'll also find some stunning custom built homes in these neighborhoods here where maybe they knocked down the original home and have built a beautiful 3,000, 4,000 square foot home, because the lot sizes here tend to be a little bit bigger than the ones in the newer neighborhoods. And then as for townhomes, this only made up 5% of the real estate sales here and typically sell between $600,000 and $800,000. Now here, there's not many options for townhomes compared to some of the other neighborhoods. We'll take a look in just a moment, but you will find a few small pockets and usually offer 3 beds and 2.5 bathrooms, and usually have a condo maintenance fee anywhere from $200 to $400 per month, depending on what's included. But the more readily available options will be condos, as this made up 28% of the real estate sales in the past 12 months, typically selling anywhere from $400,000 to $850,000. Now, the majority of these will be in the heart of the downtown area, right along the Speed River, offering anything from 1 to 2 beds to 1 to 2 bathrooms. And the square footage really range widely here, anything from the newer, smaller units being about 500 square feet to the beautiful, luxurious penthouses being up to 1,500 to 2,000 square feet in some beautiful penthouses. Now, the monthly maintenance fee with most of these condos in downtown really ranges anywhere from $300 to $800, depending on what the building amenities are, from a 24 concierge to an indoor pool to an indoor basketball court to private security and more. Now, if you are a family and you are looking for more of that suburban lifestyle, the next community I'd recommend you go take a peek in would be the South Guelph neighborhoods. And this is located on the south side of Guelph, as the name implies, just south of University of Guelph. And this is the most expanding area right now in Guelph, with lots of different detached home and townhome options to choose from, with some brand new condo buildings mixed in. Now, some key neighborhoods here would, one, be the University of Guelph, known for its top tier education, especially in the agricultural, veterinarian, and environmental programs. But you're also going to find some great established neighborhoods with Courtright East, Hanlon Creek, and Courtright Hills, as well as some newer neighborhoods with plenty of new amenities close by in the Westminster Woods and Clarefield neighborhoods. Now, some of the top pros about living in these communities here is, one, you have some of the best rated schools in all of Guelph in these neighborhoods here, as well as some excellent shopping options, including Stone Road Mall that offers a variety of name brand stores and a various amount of plazas just a short drive away. But you'll also find an abundant amount of parks and green spaces like the Arboretum and Preservation Park here. Now, on the flip side, some of the cons about choosing to live here is, one, you're not going to find as many local businesses within these communities compared to the neighborhood we just talked about earlier. But two, the real estate prices tend to be a little bit higher. And 3 would be the ongoing development. Well, this is only going to be short-lived as eventually they'll be finished developing, but right now definitely create some bottlenecks with all the extra construction that is happening here. Now, one of the advantages and one of the things I know my clients absolutely love about this community here on the south end of Guelph is it's the shortest commute to the 401, and therefore you don't have to drive through the rest of Guelph to just start your way down the 401 and get access to the greater Toronto area. Now, with that said, some of the more notable amenities, like I mentioned, one is the University of Guelph, a top university in Canada, as it was ranked 18 in Canada and 425th in the world, where its best known programs of agricultural, environmental science, and animals were ranked 1, 2, and 5 in the world. But like I mentioned, you'll find 12 different elementary schools here, and according to the Fraser Institute, this is where some of the best performing academic schools are found within Guelph. Most notably would be the St. Paul's Catholic School or the Rixon Ridge Public School. And then also within this community here, you have no shortages of great high schools, as in total, there's 3 different high schools to choose from, 2 public and 1 Catholic, including the top-rated high school in the Centennial Collegiate Vocational Institute. And then as for the shopping, like I mentioned, you have Stone Road Mall, but a variety of plazas as well right beside the mall that also include a Walmart, a Best Buy, a Canadian Tire, a Farm Boy, but also many great local restaurants like a Beer Town, a Williams Cafe, and Guelph's Barbecue. But then on the south side, you're going to find some newer amenities and shopping plazas that offer a Longo's, a Food Basics, as well as a few other restaurants. And like I mentioned, you're going to have some great parks here as well. In particular, you have the Arboretum, which takes inspiration from Harvard's Arboretum and is over 400 acres for you to walk around and explore. But you also have a 7.6 kilometer loop at the Preservation Park, which is a perfect spot to go take your dogs on a weekend, as well as just a bunch of neighborhood parks that are scattered throughout the neighborhoods. And often what I find is in these newer neighborhoods, while the neighborhood parks tend to be a bit smaller, there tends to be a few more, making it easier walkability from those detached homes in the neighborhood. And then in terms of other green spaces, you're going to find some great golfing options in the Springfield Golf and Country Club, as well as 2 different golf courses in the Victoria Park Valley and East Golf Club. And then the most notable brewery that you're probably going to get, at least the most nationally recognized brewery, is the Sleeman Brewery, which was originally founded in Guelph in 1988 and is the 3rd largest brewery in Canada. Here, you can literally, within your own neighborhood, go to their own tap room and pick up some amazing beer from them. But you can also go check out some amazing libraries, as here, you're going to find 2 different libraries on opposite ends of the neighborhood, from the Westminster branch to the Scottsdale branch. And then, like I mentioned, in terms of the real estate, it's both a pro and a con. In the sense that it's a pro, it's newer real estate. It's a con in the sense it's going to be a bit more expensive in these communities here. However, you're going to find a nice mix of real estate options to choose from. Some bigger detached homes, as well as townhomes, as well as a nice mixture of late 70s, early 80s homes that are more on the north end of this community here. As in total, this made up 36% of the real estate sales that happen within Guelph happen within this neighborhood. So it's also going to offer you the most amount of real estate options to choose from. And how the real estate breaks down within the neighborhood was it was 48% detached homes making up the last 12 months of sales, typically selling anywhere from $800,000 to $1.5 million. Built anywhere from the 1990s up until today. On the lower end are going to be those lower, smaller, 2-story homes that offer 3 to 4 beds and 2 to 3 bathrooms with a single car garage. However, on the northwest part of the neighborhood is going to be a bit more affordable. If you're looking on the eastern side of the neighborhood or the southern side of the neighborhood, this is where you're going to find the newest and biggest homes to choose from, with some properties selling actually above that $1.5 million mark, closer to that $2 million mark as well. And then as for townhomes, this made up 26% of the real estate sales in this neighborhood here, typically selling between $600,000 and $900,000. And the majority of townhomes here are going to be found on the outer edges of these neighborhoods along Gordon Street, Victoria Road. And the majority here will be condo townhomes, usually with a monthly maintenance fee between $300,000 and $500,000. However, you will find some freeholds mixed in, typically on the higher end of the price range here, usually offering 3 beds and 2 to 3 bathrooms with a single car garage. And then as for condos, this is one of the areas that has definitely seen some expansion here, as well as this made up 26% of the real estate sales in the past 12 months in this neighborhood, typically selling anywhere from $400,000 to $800,000. And it's found on the same roads as the townhomes. However, there will be a higher concentration on the south end of these neighborhood here, typically offering 1 to 2 beds and 1 to 2 bathrooms, with the most affordable condos usually offering 600 to 800 square feet. The average condo offering anywhere from 800 to 1200 square feet, where the most luxurious condos are offering 1200 to 2000 square feet. And recently there's been some new condo buildings as well that have been designed for those students that are going to the University of Guelph and offer actually 3 to 4 bedrooms and are more set up in a dormitory style. So if you're interested in learning more about the real estate options in South Guelph, Central Guelph, or the other neighborhoods we're going to be talking about in just a moment, send me and my team a message today to book your free relocation consult call, where we can dive into exactly what you can get based on your search criteria. Otherwise, the next neighborhood you might want to consider if you're thinking about making the move to Guelph would be the East Guelph. And this is located, as the name implies, on the east side of Guelph, just outside of the downtown central areas. And this is really popular with young professionals who have expanding families who still want to commute into the Greater Toronto area via the 401, but don't necessarily want to have the price tag of the South Guelph, but still want the ease of access that you're not driving through the rest of Guelph, as you can take a lot of rural roads to get to the 401, allowing you to skip out on that city traffic. So some of the pros here, like I mentioned, is one, the affordable housing in East Guelph compared to the other neighborhoods, but also here you're going to find a variety of community centers like Eastview Community Park and Victoria Road Recreational Center. However, some of the cons about this neighborhood here is it's primarily a residential neighborhood, so you're not going to really have any shopping options within the neighborhood. However, thankfully Guelph isn't that big, so you can easily drive around to Central Guelph, North Guelph, or South Guelph and go access those big box chain retail stores. As overall, you're going to find 4 different elementary schools here and 2 high schools, 1 Catholic and 1 public, both just off the road of Victoria Road. But then 2, like I mentioned, some amazing parks. As one, you're going to find some great neighborhood parks within this community here, but most notably would have to be the Eastview Community Park that offers a variety of sports fields, a splash pad, a jungle gym, and disc golf, but as well as the Victoria Road Recreational Center, which is the original recreation center in Guelph, and over the past few years has been completely updated and renovated and is a perfect spot for your kids to get some swimming lessons or also attend a summer camp. But then also here, you're going to find one of Guelph's newer libraries here as well. And then just outside this neighborhood, you're going to notice some notable features. One is the Mustang Drive-In movie theater to enjoy an amazing movie under the stars. But you'll also find the Wellington Country Marketplace to find some farm fresh Ontario meats, seasonal produce, and of course, those mouth-watering baked goods, as well as an amazing golf course in the Guelph Lakes Golf and Country Club right on Guelph Lake. And then as for how the real estate broke down in East Guelph, this made up 15% of the real estate sales in all of Guelph. And how that broke down in this neighborhood here was 61% detached homes in the past 12 months, typically selling between $700,000 and $1.1 million, offering a nice style of homes built from the 1960s up until to the 2000s, with the oldest ones being the bungalows closer to the downtown area built in the 1960s. And then as you kind of progress, you'll find some back splits and side splits in the middle. And then at the most eastern end, you're going to find some 2-story homes that were built in the 90s, early 2000s, most of these detached homes here are going to offer 3 to 4 beds and 2 to 3 bathrooms. And then as for townhomes, this made up 31% of the real estate sales in this neighborhood in the past 12 months, typically selling between $550,000 and $850,000, with 50% of the townhomes being condo townhomes and the other 50% being freehold townhomes. And of course, the condo townhomes are going to sit a bit more on that affordable side of that price range. However, both are typically going to offer 3 beds and 2.5 bathrooms as well. And then as for condos, this made up 8% of the real estate sales within this neighborhood here, typically selling between $400,000 to $600,000. Not going to offer the greatest amount of condo options to choose from. However, you will find a few low-rise buildings throughout, usually offering 1 to 2 beds and 1 to 2 bathrooms. Then the next community that you need to check out if you're a young family that wants ease of access to the shopping, some good real estate options to choose from, is the west side of Guelph. And as the name implies, this is located on the west side, and it offers definitely that quieter vibe, perfect for those commuting out to Kitchener-Waterloo, while also easy access to Costco and many other shopping options. As the key neighborhoods within the West Guelph, you have Onward Willow and Guelph Junction. Here are going to be some of the most affordable real estate options in all of Guelph, while also offering you that close-knit community feel and good access to parks and schools. But you'll also find the West Willow Woods, known for its mix of older homes as well as some brand new stunning detached homes, offering you a family-friendly environment. But then you'll also find the Parkwood Gardens, a quiet residential neighborhood that's slightly a bit more established than West Willow Woods and offers a great atmosphere for families to choose from. So some of the pros, other than the community atmosphere, is the West End Community Center that offers a pool, a library, and sports facilities, but also some great shopping options and proximity to some of Guelph's major employers. In particular, you have Conestoga College, but also Linamar, just north of this neighborhood here, is going to offer lots of different job opportunities for everyone that's in the manufacturing of automotive and trucking. Now, some of the cons here is this is also going to be a bit closer to that industrial area, especially if you're living on that north end of the west side of Guelph here. But then too, the high school options within the neighborhood are going to require busing options to one of the surrounding communities. So like I mentioned, the number one shopping plaza here would have to be that Costco, but you'll also find a few other smaller plazas right beside it, as well as the Silver Creek Parkway just off of the Hanlon Parkway, offering you a Giant Tiger, a PetSmart, and a bunch more stores. But then just a bit west outside these neighborhoods here, you're also going to find the Mossboro Country Market to pick up some of the best sweet corn I've ever had in my life from this market here. But they also have some great produce, some great fresh meats, some frozen meats, as well as some mouth-watering baked goods. I just recently tried their strawberry rhubarb pie, was absolutely delicious. But then as for schools, like I mentioned, you're going to find Conestoga College campus here that is the provincial leader in education for the motive power trades. This includes automotive, trucking, and coach, as well as heavy equipment. And that makes sense as you're right beside, like I mentioned, the major manufacturing area in Guelph on the north end of this community here. Now, in terms of elementary schools, while there are no high schools, there are 6 elementary schools within this neighborhood here, both public and Catholic, and you're going to find good schools within this neighborhood. Now, in terms of parks, there's no massive parks like some of the other neighborhoods. You're going to find some great community neighborhood parks here, like the Margaret Green Park that offers a jungle gym, pickleball courts, baseball diamonds, and lots of green space. But you'll also find the Norm J Park that offers a splash pad, more pickleball courts, and baseball courts. And of course, the West End Community Center that offers 3 different pools. You have a leisure pool that has a water slide and a bunch more fun things for your kids to enjoy, to a 25-meter lap pool to get a workout in, to a therapeutic pool designed for rehabbing an injury. But also here, you're going to find a public library, a twin pad arena, perfect for rec hockey, as well as public skates, in a fitness area where where you can get all the weights and cardio you need. But also in this neighborhood here, you're going to have the most amount of brewery options to choose from the Wellington Brewery to the Wrinkle Bear Brewing Company to the Fixed Gear Brewing, as well as rival ciders. And then in terms of the real estate options and what you can expect to purchase here, again, kind of like the East End, is going to be a bit more affordable in the West End of Guelph as well. However, you can also find some more expensive two-story detached homes that were recently built in the West Willow Woods neighborhood. As in total, this made up 17% of the real estate sales happened within this neighborhood compared to that of all of Guelph. And within the neighborhood, majority were detached homes, as this made up 63% of the sales in the past 12 months, typically selling anywhere from $700,000 to $1 million. And here you're gonna find lots of different bungalow options to choose from, as well as two-story homes that were built anywhere from the 1970s all the way up to the 1980s, usually offering great mature trees lining the street as well. And then as for townhomes, this made up 22% of the real estate sales in the past 12 months in this neighborhood here, typically selling between $500,000 and $800,000, with the majority of townhomes here being condo townhomes that were usually built in the 1980s. So they are going to be some of the more affordable townhomes you're going to be finding in all of Guelph, usually offering you that 3 beds and 2 to 3 bathrooms. However, you will find a few pockets of newer townhomes that were really built in the last 5 years. And then as for condos in this neighborhood, this made up 15% of the real estate sales in this neighborhood, typically selling between $400,000 and $550,000, and they're usually going to be more on the eastern side of this neighborhood, usually again offering 1 to 2 beds and 1 to 2 bathrooms. So if you're thinking about making the move and are still unsure what are the best and worst neighborhoods for you and your family, we will love to give you our personal recommendations on our buyer kickoff call. So send me and my team a message today to book that and get started and understand our personal recommendation based on your search criteria. Other than that, the next neighborhood you may want to consider would be North Guelph, and this is located, as the name implies, on the north side. Now this is again going to offer some of the more affordable options to choose from, and also lots of different new homes as well to choose from. However, one of the drawbacks here, especially if you're going to be commuting into the Greater Toronto area on a regular basis, as this is the furthest communities away from accessing the 401, and oftentimes you're going to have to drive through the city of Guelph's traffic to even hit the 401 and go on your way towards Toronto. Now, with that said, you are going to have some amazing parks to choose from. Now, some key neighborhoods within this area here would be the Brant Avenue and Waverly that offer quiet residential neighborhoods with tree-lined streets and easy access to some essential amenities and schools. And really on the farthest north end, you're going to find some of the newest detached homes and townhomes to choose from. But then you'll also find June Avenue, known for its proximity to Riverside Park, but also its access to community events, as well as a Walmart that you're going to find within this neighborhood here. Now, some of the cons here is while you are going to have some shopping options, it's not going to be the most amount of shopping options within this community here. And then the second major con, like I mentioned, is that distance to the 401. Now, with that said, the one plaza you're going to be finding here is that Smart Center right on Highway 6 that offers a Walmart, a Home Depot, a Canadian Tire, a HomeSense, a Michaels, and more. But in terms of schools, you're only going to find 4 elementary schools here that rank all right on the Fraser Institute rankings. However, there are no high schools, so you'll have to have your kids, if they're in high school, commute to one of the surrounding cities. Now, thankfully, not a short bus ride in or short drive for you to drop them off. And then in terms of the parks, the 2 most notable parks you're going to be finding within these neighborhoods here is one, the Riverside Park, where you can walk along the side of the Speed River that has a variety of playgrounds and sports fields, as well as it's home to many of Guelph's festivals. Most notably would be the Ribfest Festival, but you'll also find a 9-hole disc golf course here on the east side and an amazing floral clock you'll need to check out. But then you'll also find Guelph's biggest park within these communities here, or just outside of these communities, in the Guelph Lake Conservation Area and sports fields, where you can go for a hike around the lake, relax on the beaches, or head out on the water and try your luck trying to catch some bike or bass, or visit their massive sports field park that has many soccer fields and baseball diamonds I'm sure your kids will spend lots of time playing on. And then in terms of golfing options, you're going to be finding the Guelph Country Club close by this neighborhood here. Now, in terms of the real estate options, this made up 12% of the real estate sales that happened within Guelph, and oftentimes these sales here were detached homes, as this made up 66% of the sales in the past 12 months, typically selling anywhere from $700,000 to $1.1 million. Now, on the low side of that price range, you're going to find lots of bungalows, lots of back splits built in the 1950s and 1970s. And then on the high end of that price range, close to that $1 million mark, you're going to find a lot of two-story homes built in the 90s and early 2000s that are going to offer you a bit bigger square footage. And then in terms of townhomes, this made up 21% of the real estate sales that happened within this neighborhood, typically selling between $550,000 and $800,000, and are usually found on that north end of the neighborhood, and are usually split 50-50 between condo townhomes and freehold townhomes, and on average are a bit newer compared to the rest of the areas on Guelph, usually built from the 2000s to the 2020s, and like all the other Guelph townhomes, usually offer 3 beds and 2.5 bathrooms. And then in terms of the condo options you're going to be finding in this neighborhood, this only made up 13% of the real estate sales that have happened in the past 12 months, typically selling between $500,000 and $600,000. Now, there's not a lot of condo options to choose from. However, you will find a few buildings close to Woolwich Street as well as Wood Lane, and they are going to offer slightly larger condos here, anywhere from 1,000 square feet to 1,400 square feet, usually offering 2 to 3 beds and 2 bathrooms. So now you have a complete detailed breakdown of the different pros and cons of each one of Guelph's neighborhoods and the top amenities you're going to be finding within it. If you're still interested in learning more about what it's like living in Guelph, the next video I'd recommend you go take a look at is my video breaking down all the pros and cons for the city of Guelph. So you can find that video right here. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day.